All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to look at something that affects literally every single one of us, our brain health as we get older. I used to think memory loss was mostly just, genetics, like something that either happens to you or it doesn't, right? But when you actually dig into the research behind morning routines and cognitive longevity, the science tells a very different and honestly, a very empowering story. Today, we're going to walk through 5 science-backed morning habits that are genuinely linked to protecting your brain.
So, it's a huge question, isn't it? Is memory loss just genetics? We so often look at our family history and just assume our cognitive fate is already sealed. But I really want to challenge that common myth right here at the start. While genetics for sure play a role, we can't deny that, current research heavily suggests that our daily lifestyle choices, specifically how we hit the ground running in our mornings, can significantly influence our cognitive trajectory. It's really about focusing on what we can actually control.
And to figure out exactly what we can control, we have to cut through a lot of noise. Today, we're going to separate the debated, trendy wellness hype from the proven habits that are actually associated with better memory, sharper focus, and slower cognitive decline. Some of the absolute most popular advice out there right now is surprisingly disputed in the scientific community. We'll look at what actually holds up to scrutiny, including this one absolutely crucial 5th habit that almost every doctor misses during a standard checkup.
Okay, so here is our quick roadmap for today. Number 1, rethinking morning drinks. 2, seeking morning light. 3, moving before scrolling. 4, fueling your brain. 5, the power of novelty. And 6, putting together your new morning routine.
Let's jump into section 1, rethinking morning drinks, and specifically why we need to hydrate first.
Just think about what your body has just been through. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep with 0 fluid intake, most of us wake up at least mildly dehydrated. And here's why this is a big deal for your brain. Even mild dehydration has been consistently associated with measurable drops in concentration and short-term memory. Now, you've probably heard that wildly popular trend telling you to delay your morning coffee by 90 minutes. But I've got some great news for the heavily caffeinated folks out there. That mechanism is actually highly debated among researchers right now. Many experts point out that adenosine builds up rather than declining upon waking, and there's really no definitive study proving that a specific 90-minute delay window magically improves your focus. So the actually proven habit? Hydrate first to fix that overnight dehydration, and then caffeinate whenever it saves your sanity.
Moving on to section 2, seeking morning light, specifically early natural light.
This second habit is all about getting outside in natural sunlight within the first 30 minutes of waking up, even if it's literally just for a few brief minutes. Now, this isn't just about waking yourself up and feeling peppy. It connects to a biological mechanism that is absolutely vital for brain longevity, and that mechanism relies on something called the glymphatic system. You can think of this as your brain's overnight cleanup crew. See, throughout the day, your brain builds up these metabolic byproducts. The glymphatic system is responsible for clearing all that waste out, and it's most active while you're in deep sleep.
So you might be wondering, how does morning light connect to nighttime cleanup? Well, it's a fascinating timeline. Step 1, you get that morning sunlight right in your eyes. Step 2, that specific wavelength of early light signals your brain to perfectly set its circadian rhythm for the day. In step 3, a properly anchored circadian rhythm directly triggers and optimizes your glymphatic system to perform its deep cleaning cycle roughly 16 hours later. By stepping outside right now, you are quite literally scheduling your brain's maintenance for tonight. How cool is that?
Actually, before we hit the next habit, I want to do a super quick myth bust. We constantly see these flashy ads for brain training apps and puzzle games claiming they'll keep your brain young. But the honest consensus from current research, as one expert put it, you get better at the specific puzzle, not at general memory or thinking skills. Don't get me wrong, they aren't useless and they can be a lot of fun, but they just aren't the cognitive silver bullets they're often marketed to be. The habits actually linked to broader, lasting cognitive benefits are physical, not digital.
Which brings us to section 3, moving before scrolling and engaging your body.
Habit number 3 is committing to move your body. We're talking even just a brisk 10-minute walk before you ever check your phone or open your email. The crucial point here is the actual biological reaction this movement creates. Physical movement spikes the production of a protein called BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This protein is absolutely incredible. It supports the growth of new neurons and actively strengthens the connections between your existing ones. In fact, an increase in BDNF is one of the most consistently replicated, rock-solid findings in all of exercise neuroscience.
Just compare these two morning states. If you grab your phone and scroll first thing, you're instantly shifting your brain into this reactive,
narrow focus state. You're dealing with notifications, stress, and everyone else's demands before you've even engaged your own biology. But if you walk first, you're literally bathing your brain in BDNF. You're priming it for neural growth and resilience. And listen, you don't need a heavy, sweaty gym session for this. Just 10 minutes of movement before the scrolling starts. Honestly, if you only adopt one single habit from this entire explainer, make it this one. It has the fastest noticeable effect on your daily mental clarity.
All right, section 4, fueling your brain and the missing nutrient. We've all heard the old saying that eating a healthy breakfast is important. But for brain health, the advice needs to be way more specific than just eat healthy. Your brain requires very specific building blocks to function at its best. Specifically, it needs a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. This chemical is directly tied to your capacity for memory and learning. But here's the catch. To produce acetylcholine, your brain needs a steady supply of a nutrient called choline. And the data shows us that most people simply do not get enough choline in their regular daily diets.
To put that into perspective, consider a typical breakfast, cereal, toast, maybe a pastry. It's highly processed, it's carb-heavy, and it contains almost zero choline. Now compare that to a brain-supporting breakfast featuring eggs. Egg yolks are one of the most concentrated everyday sources of choline available to us. In a recent randomized controlled trial, adults who took daily egg yolk choline showed measurable improvements in verbal memory over just 12 weeks. You don't need a massive, exhausting diet overhaul, just swap.
Section 5. The power of novelty. This is the unmentioned habit. So, this is the habit I teased way back at the beginning of this explainer. When you go in for a standard 15-minute doctor's visit, they always check your physical numbers, right? Blood pressure, cholesterol, weight, but they almost never ask about how much novelty you have in your life. Peer-reviewed research on cognitive aging specifically identifies novelty, the act of deliberately doing something slightly unfamiliar, as a highly powerful trigger for neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is just your brain's ability to actually form entirely new neural connections in response to new inputs. And what's incredibly encouraging about this effect holds up beautifully in older adults. Your brain literally never loses the ability to physically wire itself for new experiences.
Let's look at how this builds into your actual morning. It takes 2 minutes and costs absolutely nothing. Take a slightly different route on your morning walk or your commute. Or try using your non-dominant hand to brush your teeth. Just, prepare to get a little toothpaste on your chin the first few times. Or maybe learn just 5 words in a new language while you're getting dressed. These tiny, unfamiliar actions force your brain right off autopilot, sparking that vital neural plasticity we just talked about. Finally, Section 6, your new morning routine. It's time to bring all of this evidence-based research together into one simple, actionable plan.
All right, here is your daily checklist for lifelong brain health. 1. Hydrate before you caffeinate to clear out that overnight dehydration. 2. Seek early morning light to set your circadian rhythm and trigger your brain's overnight glymphatic cleanup. 3. Move your body for just 10 minutes to produce that incredible BDNF before you let your phone hijack your focus. 4. Eat a choline-rich breakfast, like eggs, to fuel your memory neurotransmitters. And 5, add just 2 minutes of novelty to force your brain to build brand new neural pathways. These aren't just flashy wellness trends. These are the practical habits genuinely linked by science to protecting your cognitive health over the long haul.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with something to chew on. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the real truth about coffee delays to the hidden power of just brushing your teeth with your other hand. Look at that list again. Which of these 5 habits surprised you the most? Think about how you can easily slip just one of them into your morning tomorrow. Your brain is a dynamic, adapting organ, and it is absolutely never too late to start giving it exactly what it needs to thrive. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and I highly encourage you to keep exploring the incredible science of your own potential.